So, you want to learn how to use the sum function in Excel. Well, the sum function simplifies adding numbers by using the formula equals sum, open parenthesis, the values you want to add, close parenthesis, and enter. Once we hit enter, Excel displays the total of these numbers in the output cell. And if you look at the formula bar, you'll see what was typed into the cell. Whatever we type inside the parentheses are called arguments, and they can be in the form of explicit numbers, they can be cell references, or they can be a range of cells, like we have here. You can enter up to 255 arguments with the sum function, and each argument is separated by commas. Of course, you can see why using the sum function makes adding numbers quicker than using a plus sign, especially when we have several values. But here's another advantage. If we use the plus sign to add numbers where one cell includes a text value, let's see what happens. So let's delete what we have here, and let's type a text value here, and then use a plus sign to add all the numbers in this range. So we'll add B1 to B2, B3, and B4. Now we get a value error because of this text value. What happens if we use the sum function? Since the sum function ignores text values, that cell with text is skipped, and so a valid result is returned because Excel adds all the other cells. Let's look at a quick way to sum a range of cells. It's called Autosum. We find Autosum by going to the Formulas tab and looking for the Autosum symbol. What Autosum does is to quickly enter the sum formula in a selected cell. We can easily do this just by clicking on the Autosum symbol and then hitting enter. What Excel does is to make a reference to the numeric cells just above the input cell. Instead of clicking on the symbol, we could also use the shortcut, which is Alt equals, and it does the same thing. Using Autosum is useful for adding an entire row or column of values without scrolling to the first cell in the range. There's another less known function which can add numbers in Excel. It's called SUBTOTAL. SUBTOTAL can perform a number of tasks, including sum, average, count, product, and others, which we can see here. By default, SUBTOTAL excludes values in rows hidden by a filter, which gives it an advantage over the sum function in this aspect. Let's see why. What if we used the sum function to add all these numbers here, but then we wanted to apply a filter, and we only wanted to see sales from the East team? We keep our blanks here so that we'll see the total row. It still shows $16,000 because it's including even the cells that are filtered out. But now let's use the subtotal function. Let's redisplay all the values in our data set. And now let's use the subtotal function. Function 9 is the sum function, so we'll use that. And we want to include all the cells here in our range. So of course we have the same total, $16,081, but now let's go back and only display the sales from the East team. The subtotal function excludes values that have been filtered out by the Excel filter. Here's something with the subtotal function that you'll want to remember. We have 11 functions here, numbered from 1 to 11, and these same functions are repeated in the 100 series. So we have 101 to 111. So let's use function 9 as an example, since we're working with the sum function right now. If we use function 9 to add all the numbers within this range, and if we manually hide these cells, Excel still displays that total of 16,000. But if we entered this as function 109, what happens? Excel changes that. So subtotal functions in the 100 series exclude cells which are manually hidden. Remember though, that values that are filtered out using an Excel filter are never included for any of the subtotal functions. So now you've learned how to use the sum function in Excel, and as a bonus, you also learned how to use the subtotal function. If you're just getting started in Excel, visit the GoSkills resource library and check out our Microsoft Excel basic course.
Ready to learn more about Microsoft Excel? Then check out the full course on GoSkills.com. Click the link in the description.